Etia for me sans will be a crab as recompensa be your dinu TV. They be rather Michelle subscribe to your dinu TV, like your commenting or your comment section. So click on the notification button for more news updates. So Sisia, the lawyers for a Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, Ebusha for Oma disgrâce, a Chief Justice Torkono Papa. Pennyful baby say, and grassy away, and send for okay neighbor. Debbie, now that's not for counsel edging gracia, Ebusha for near to Jua. Na enyingwasia waje ene se eye nanwanda omukopiemu ewo court na court na omukopiemu ewo hono the lawyers of Speaker of Parliament ebujafo ye ka obi oye brela ye be ka omaka oma ben. They are very brilliant, they are intelligent, because omo IQ on level no ewo sure omukopiemu ewo court na Chief Justice Torkono na aje se debi sansemo ya mudi abetu manimi me say me many, but me to me and KB and Mamo say as Cynthia Mamily Morrison as independent candidate. Me yes my ye man His Excellency Nana Dankwa Fad. And to me ye bibisa. Na ebisha for a cast I say we no and I make us say come and see for yourself. Bringing back as seeing is believing. But how our lawyers of Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin for a behavior. Debbie, I wish for come home now. The young could see my sister with us.
And you before a sorry pay. And think of me, none coming in Chief Justice. What were foot to be for the member MPP parliamentarians. Can you speak a lawyer one in a cocker? And now, what send your non justice Alaba Torkono, the poor fool. Send your work casa in 10 casa. Hey, mamma, and your tax money in the mutual co. And your tax money. So what's the car can be a company? So what's the car can be a office? Can one mamma Kufa and foul? And this is a way you grow far. You're right to say cattle. Because she bright. A casa. You go to your
including laws enshrined in the Constitution and so on. Eminent jurists have established a principle of law. Do they want an outcome such as this one and so on? You understand? Now, all these are matters of principles which I suspect are not challengeable. These are principles which the legal practice, judicial practice and so on have established over the years, and I think it's important to apply them at all times. Now, yesterday, after reading the judgment of the 5 justices, I heard the Chief Justice, in a very angry mood, pose the question, why have we come to this? Why is Parliament not sitting and so on? Is that the business of the Chief Justice? Whether or not Parliament should be in session or not is clearly the duty of the Speaker. The Speaker calls Parliament into session. The Speaker is the one who adjourns Parliament, definitely or indefinitely, and so on. What has that got to do with the Chief Justice? In any case, why was Parliament adjourned? Parliament was adjourned because it didn't have the numbers to take decisions. It is not because of the Speaker's decision. It is not because of the injunction which was being sought in court and so on. Parliament simply could not have the numbers to take decisions, and that's why Parliament was adjourned. Is the Chief Justice in any way suggesting that Parliament should sit when it doesn't have the quorum to take decisions? Is that what the Chief Justice is suggesting? And if that is not what she's suggesting, and she's acting in her capacity as a citizen rather than a Chief Justice, and she's entitled to that, perhaps what she ought to do is to advise members of Parliament of the New Patriotic Party not to boycott parliamentary procedures, in order that we shall have the numbers to do business. That's all. And she can do that in her capacity as a citizen. That does not lie in the mouth or actions of the Chief Justice, but it lies in the mouth and actions of any and every citizen. And the Chief Justice indeed has a right as a citizen to make appeals to members of Parliament not to unduly and unreasonably, boycott parliamentary procedures so that we can get business done. And I have no quarrel with that. Now, one of the issues which came up yesterday was the claim that the Speaker's lawyers had not filed their responses to the matter which had been raised by the plaintiffs in the case, and therefore they were unduly delaying the process. Now, I'm a layperson. I didn't go to law school. But listen, what happened in court yesterday was the Speaker, represented by his lawyers, asking the Supreme Court to set aside decisions that it had made. Asking the Supreme Court to take note of the fact that the process before it was improperly filed. So if the Supreme Court had decided yesterday that the Speaker was right, there would have been no case pending before it for anybody to respond to. Okay? Now, unless the Speaker's lawyers believed that the case they were sending to the Supreme Court was frivolous, had no merit, and so on, how could they have filed responses to a matter that they thought had been irregularly brought before the Supreme Court? So I think that the lawyers of the Speaker acted properly and demanded an extension of time to enable them to file, their responses and so on. And yet the Chief Justice was so angry that at one point she actually asked lawyer Sorry whether they should go ahead without him, Member of Parliament. You understand? So it's strange. Then the other thing which struck me yesterday was the reference to caucuses in Parliament. There are no longer caucuses in Parliament. At the end of the last elections, the NDC had 137 seats and the NPP had 137 seats. So we had a hung Parliament. But there was one independent candidate. So the matter was referred to the Speaker for a ruling as to whether or not we can have a majority caucus and a minority caucus. And I remember very clearly the Speaker giving a decision which says that there are no caucuses anymore and that there's a majority group and a minority group. So where from this majority caucus and minority caucus that the Supreme Court referred to yesterday? I cannot believe it. Okay. Now, Massa, it's important because if you look at Article 97, H and G of the 19th Constitution, it is clear that it does not allow crossing carpet in Parliament. That the independent candidate could not have become a member of the NPP caucus because it would have implied that he had crossed carpet and therefore would have had to lose his seat for a by-election to be conducted in his constituency. So the Speaker very cleverly declared the existence of a majority group and a minority group. You understand? Now, I disagree with the Speaker. I disagree with the Speaker on grounds that the standing orders of Parliament envisages a situation where there always has to be a majority and a minority. The reality after the last elections suggests that there wasn't no majority and there was no minority. So what needed to be done was a recrafting of the standing orders of Parliament to fit this new situation. Now, either because of laziness or because of the will to cling to tradition and so on, we still maintain this position of majority and minority and found a very clever, perhaps disingenuous way of declaring one side a minority group and the other side majority group. That is where this problem is coming from. You understand? That is where this problem is coming from. Because if you have an independent candidate in Parliament who declares that for all times, for the 4-year life of Parliament, he will be aligned to a particular party. Master, directly, not indirectly, he has crossed carpet of election disputes and so on ends at the Court of Appeal. And another panel, headed by the current Chief Justice, decides that no, it doesn't end there, it actually ends at the Supreme Court. That's interesting. It's for lawyers and people who know better, to advocate. One thing which was very striking yesterday was also the decision that one of the judges that the speaker's lawyers were asking to recuse himself would not do so because
quasi right. I can't say baby who you can in here. Said you go so can. Say court tonight walk on. And it does so be a new man can and be a pin. If we say Godfred would that make crowd what you can and your lawyer, Attorney General. Or my name say, when you are someone or no, and I could catch him to try to jump. But then, as someone wouldn't say, whole crotino, judge, adding the top, ever quaquate. I am my car, Papa J. So, can your Papa J be a judge for? Monsieur Mribi Peppa. And Mribi Babo, a good father judge for 1.1 on the tongue room work. And yet you, and yes, kind. But when you come from the casa, question me a boy, yeah, no question me a boy away. Question me a boy, no, I see and canasam, and then Michelle question me a boy, with me bono. Sana Kufado, I come with your webby. I come with your webby. I come with swimming in the fleck a crabby. Michelle and Nando so what take care more with me, Papa.